I heard this one when I was in Korea. One day a girl was walking home late at night after work. It was dark and around midnight. She lived in an apartment that had an elevator. She got in the elevator, and when the door was about to close, a strange man with a red hoodie entered. He apologized for scaring her and asked her which floor she was heading to without making any eye contact. She told him out of fear, and the man casually pressed the button and the one below. As they were on the way up, he asked if he can use her cell phone. Feeling a little creeped out, she declined and kept herself in the corner. After seconds of silence, they arrived to the floor below the one she was heading to. The door opened. The guy slowly walked out of the door and turned around facing the girl. He just stared at her for a moment without any movement. Slowly the door started to close, and from the gap, she could see him turning around, heading to the stairs, pulling a knife out of his pocket. Two days after my grandfather died, the neighborhood security guard knocks on our door on a Sunday morning. He told us, "An old man came to your house earlier, knocked on your door for a half an hour, and finally left." I asked him what he wanted, and he told me he needed to say goodbye to someone he had never had the chance to meet. We were all stunned. We had no idea who this man was or who he was looking for. When the guard came in, he shouted, "That's the old man," pointing at a picture of my grandfather. My entire family froze for a minute. I'm not 100% sure if the guard was telling the truth, but I almost like believing that my granddad wanted to say goodbye to my newborn sister before resting in peace. When my family hit hard times, we had to move into a small house where our uncle had recently shot and killed himself. He had done this because of his depression after his wife had overdosed on pills and died the summer before. It all happened so quickly that when we moved in there was still a bit of blood in one of the rooms. But on the third or fourth night of living there, my sister and I, who were sharing a room in the tiny house, were awake in our room playing video games at around 1 or 2 in the morning when someone knocks on our door. We didn't think anything of it and shouted for whoever it was outside our door to come in. No answer. Another knock. We stop and stare at the door, and another knock comes. The doorknob does a full rotation and snaps back as if someone turned it and let go very quickly. I get up and open the door expecting to see one of my other sisters or my mother, the only other people in the house. I opened the door and stared into an empty hallway. I walk down the hall and peek into the other bedroom. My 2 younger sisters and my mother are both fast asleep. I have a really good one that is actually true. It happened to me. This could have been a dream, but I testify to this day that what I saw was a ghost. So here I am, a young boy. I awoke in the middle of the night. I am currently sharing a bunk bed with my brother, and I am on the top bunk. I look out into my living room and notice everything is dark. However, there is a person in an evening gown dusting my fireplace mantle. The woman was slender, which threw me off guard because my mom is a heavier set woman. I yelled out, "Mom," to the person dusting the counter, and the person turned around. It was not my mom, but some older woman. Suddenly, she shrieks and her face becomes severely deformed. It was like the stuff you see in horror movies, ridiculously scary, especially for a young kid. I blinked my eyes and she was gone. I somehow went back to bed, and the next morning I went into my living room and noticed that even though the TV was off, there was something written on the screen. It said, "Do not be afraid." The text slowly faded away, and no one else saw it. As a young boy, this was, and still is, extremely terrifying to me. I still have fresh memories of this. When I was very young, about 3 or 4, I remember having a friend named Allie. Allie lived with me and I would play hide and seek with her in the backyard. Allie was a year older than me. Allie loved my mom but wouldn't stay long enough to meet her. My mom didn't believe me that I had a friend named Allie. I kept telling her. Her face turned white and told me to stop and that Allie isn't real. Well, one night Allie told me she had to leave, so she did. Never heard from her again. Fast forward to when I was 16, and my mom told me that before I was born I had a sister named Allie. She had passed away due to complications. I don't really know what the problem was, something about her lungs, I think. My mom tells me that it was probably all a coincidence since a divorce was going on during that time and I wanted a friend. But I still remember everything about Allie, and I refuse to believe it was all pretend. Hey guys, thanks for checking out Horror on Demand. Please like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps me out. And stay tuned for future videos. I'm going to be putting out at least a video a week, and more if I can. Thank you.